It is the Sunbet Poker Tour here at Grand West in beautiful Cape Town, and what an exciting night of poker we are having. There's loads going on behind us. We've got Club Champs, we've got Super High Roller, we've got Flight 1A of the Hendon Mob Championship, Cape Town Millions. And with us in the studio tonight, we've got Roland Boothby and Anthony Charter from the Hendon Mob themselves, all the way from Malta. Welcome to Cape Town, guys.
Thank you for having us. We've been incredibly welcome since arriving. We couldn't have been more welcome. As you guys may have seen, we jumped in the Little Slam event pretty soon after arriving, and both ended up going kind of pretty deep into day two, which doesn't normally happen for me. So we played with a lot of the community here. I played on a lot of different tables, and the overwhelming feeling I got was just feeling welcomed by players who just love the game and are interested to kind of hear about Hendon Mob and what we're trying to do with poker in South Africa.
Now, Roland, you've been to South Africa before, and we'll get back to that. Anthony, is it your first time here?
It is my first time.
And a lot of the feedback that we often get when people come to South Africa the first time is that it's just like the friendliest poker place in the world. Like, it's super social here.
Yeah, very social. The event, the Little Slam we played, everyone was super nice, very enjoyable. My biggest takeaway is how cheap the food and drinks have been, actually.
Good for a holiday.
As an aficionado of food and drink, I've been quite pleased.
Well, there you have it. That's Anthony Charter telling the whole world. Come to South Africa, it's super free and super cheap to eat.
You will not be disappointed.
Well, that's awesome. I believe you chaps took a hike up the Table Mountain today?
We went to Table Mountain with the intention of taking the beautiful cable car right to the top. When we got there, there was a queue that looked like it could have taken possibly 2 or 3 hours to get to the front of. So I saw a path. The path came with some warnings, a few different warnings, but we ignored those warnings and we just pressed on straight up ahead.
I reluctantly ignored the warning. He didn't even pay attention to the warnings. He's like, oh, let's just go.
Yeah, well done. Man.
We did not get to the top of Table Mountain, but we got a decent way towards the top and had a great time.
Yeah, we found an awesome spot, so we didn't feel like we had to go any further. We looked up and we could see the top about 30 feet above us. So
it didn't look that much better than where we were.
But tell the whole world what it looked like from up there and what an incredible city Cape Town is.
I mean, I think we were looking at like Camp Bay on the other side. I could see myself living there. It was nicely closed off too, with mountains all around, nice beach.
You and every single person that comes to South Africa.
Oh, fair enough.
Melanie Wiseman,
I'm sure the housing market is great there.
Melanie Wiseman actually said the same thing. She's like, everyone that's ever come here is like, oh, I could really live here in the first week that they're here.
Yeah. We found a nice shady spot under a rock up in the mountain, and oh man.
There's a few things British people where I come from, Europeans, they know about South Africa, right? They know Cape Town and Table Mountain, and they know lions and safari. But when you're here, you really discover some of the other things that perhaps people don't know. For example, just the incredible low cost of enjoying yourself. When it comes to the poker, I don't think European players or the poker community in general, they know about the style of play down here, because otherwise they would be coming here to play because in huge numbers. Just because, poker is in Europe and to an extent the US is kind of on its way to being solved. People play in quite formulaic ways, and it can often be
robotic.
A bit robotic. That's the word I was thinking of. When you come play down here, like that just goes out the window. And A, it's more fun, and B, it's more profitable. So like, what you would probably see if people knew about the way people play down here is more players coming down.
Well, I think that's why we rely on you guys, to tell the world how cool South Africa is and how nice it is to play poker in South Africa. And you've got this fantastic global footprint, and you have a new part, a new point on this footprint now, which is South Africa, and we just hoping that, and we know, because we've had a long relationship with you, Roland, we know that from here, you guys will broadcast to the world what a cool place South Africa is to play poker.
Yeah. I mean, one of the nice things for me, and different, was like seeing a smile on like everyone's face. Yeah. Like normally in the US or Europe, you walk into a poker room and everyone's just like staring down or grimacing or unhappy about something. And here, like, everyone at the table is smiling, having a good time, and rubbing shoulders and whatnot. It's way different.
Yeah, like that GTO wizard hasn't arrived yet, right? That's
definitely not.
Yeah. Put a block on that.
I've got like Cape Town specifically is quite an interesting poker community, and when we did our first event in Cape Town in 2022, and we ran a satellite series down here, I discovered a bunch of things that I wasn't even used to myself, and that was like we'd have a satellite room that would be full to the brim. It's got 10 tables. Generally, we'd play 9-handed. We had to put in the 10 seats there, and one table even played 11 with a guy sitting on a bar stool. One of these that we're sitting on, right? He's a walking duck here. They call him Nick Gara, and there were still people like in a line as alternates, and post that satellite, when the resulting came out, there's this WhatsApp group, and the trend every single day on this WhatsApp group is all these guys come together, and ladies, of course, and they compete with each other. And the next morning, it's like thumbs up and all congratulations, and like warming to their poker peers, if you want to call it, or their poker friends or whatever, and like, well done, bros, congratulations, I'm so happy for you, I'm so pleased, all the best, if you're playing in the main event or the Hen and Mob event or whatever it is, and we'll see you tonight, and hopefully we can scalp you there. But it's like this just continued love and support for each other, and not that like, I was so unlucky, and I was so this, and I was so that, and all of that nonsense that comes with it. They just love to encourage each other, which is really, really, really nice.
And I think one of the best examples we've seen is the club championship that's going on right behind us now. Phenomenal atmosphere in the room all day. You've got all the teams in their kind of themes / fancy dress. We were asked to call the tight winners race in the fancy dress competition between the Lions and the crown wearing kings with their confetti machine. We didn't. It was a decision we didn't take lightly. We had to go and sit in Nando's and mull it over. But I think we got to the right decision in the end.
Yeah, I think there was a little bias because those glasses were orange, right?
I mean, look, if you show up in orange,
hey, even if they didn't have glasses, I mean, all of them wearing a matching Lions suit is.
Yeah, but that orange kind of matched your color.
It was on a knife edge. It was on a knife edge, and the orange glasses may have just tipped it towards the team Lions. But this kind of stuff is phenomenal, and there's the rail is rowdy, the tables are rowdy. It's just a brilliant event, and it's got a real community feel to it.
And I wanted to just, while we're discussing this club championship, have you ever, you've been to global events around the world. Have you ever seen anything of this nature where clubs come and compete against each other in a formalized casino environment?
I've never seen anything quite like this.
There aren't really poker clubs.
Yeah.
In a lot of parts, it's like extremely illegal to have a poker club anyway. So you're in a casino, and you might have a few friends in there, but most of them are your enemies.
We got to rephrase that. Okay, so it's obviously it's also illegal in South Africa. You need to play in a regulated environment, as we are playing right here where we are now. But I think anywhere around the world you cannot stop home games, right?
Yeah.
People have home games and their own thing, and it is what it is because people love to play and they like convenience and the comfort of their homes and the comfort of their garages, and eventually that little community builds and builds and builds, and that's what's happened here behind us. Is these people some of them live maybe some of these clubs are like an hour away from this particular casino, right? And there's nowhere else for them to participate and play poker, so they have their own home game, and that's how they keep themselves busy, and that's how they sharpen up their poker skills, so that when they have to come to Cape Town for the Sunbet Poker Tour series, at least they're a little bit sharpened up and got a poker economy, because you will know as well as I do, a poker economy is quite an interesting ecosystem in the world, because the amount of numbers and the things that go on in this poker ecosystem are just so far removed from people that live in the normal world and earn their own salary and do this and do that. It's and if it wasn't for these like home games and garage clubs or whatever you want to call them, there would be no ecosystem for what you see behind you.
Yeah.
Well, I think what we're seeing here in particular, we've got this beautiful casino, but it's serving Cape Town, but it unfortunately doesn't have a poker room for the year round where you guys aren't in town. So these guys are forming their communities kind of outside of the casino, and I think that can often lead to a sort of a strength that you wouldn't see in an ordinary casino community, because the sort of cut and thrust of the casino is a little bit more kind of cutthroat. It's a little bit more regulated and sort of formulaic, whereas
It's also a bit more intimidating for the smaller players to come to, and that's
and a much harder entry level for new players.
So I'll tell you a very interesting thing, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but because you're probably going to say this because I know what you're thinking, so let me just say it for you. I would say that today, I could comfortably say that 30 to 40 people in this poker room are experiencing their first live event.
Wow, that's incredible. Because poker has a...
Were you going to say that?
That is what I was going to say. It's such a big draw for people who might not be comfortable enough to come to this big showy poker room, which looks really intimidating to walk into. But if they're coming with their group of friends and it's fun and it's relaxed and they know it's just for a good time, they're a lot more likely to get involved, and that's how we try to grow the sport of poker in general.
And this is, things like that, you love to see those things because poker does have a kind of a problem with acquisition of younger players, just because the barriers to entry are now, in terms of skill level and finances, are quite high. Typically, live tours are running events at a buy-in level that a newcomer to the game, 18-year-old kid just out of school, isn't really going to have the kind of resources to buy into. So it is something that poker needs to think about as an industry, as to how we get young players in. We all know that the people my age all came in around the same time of the boom, kind of mid to late 2000s. But since then, things like esports are capturing the attentions of younger people. So, seeing new people coming in and you telling me there's an event where 40% haven't played live before is very refreshing to hear.
Absolutely, and it is grassroots that needs, and there's a few role players in this Cape Town community, and one of them is a young gentleman by the name of Gareth Duncan, and this guy is just so into growing the community. He has quite a strong hold on a certain part of the community, and they seem to gravitate towards him, and when he hosts games, people kind of want to play at the things that he hosts, and he seems to have a really good handle on them, and seems to know what he's doing in them. And kudos to him for taking an environment, like you said, there is no poker room in this particular casino, but there will be one soon.
Yes.
Oh,
so
that's
and it will be powered by
that's the kind of news we like to hear.
NJPT once all the regularities and things are taken care of. So it's something exciting for us to think about.
That sounds like it's very positive news.
But I want to ask you guys something, because I always answer this question to people that ask me this. But the biggest question that I keep on getting asked in South Africa, especially now that we've advertised the Hendon Mob Championship, is they ask me, but what is the Hendon Mob and what does the Hendon Mob do? And I think this is a really good opportunity for you guys to elaborate on that. And you're looking at your PR guys, so
it sounds like the perfect question for the head of PR and comms to field. And if he misses anything, which I don't think he will, I can add the sort of cherry on the top if it's needed.
Essentially, the Hendon Mob is the largest poker database in the world. We track live results, and we use those live results to then form the Global Poker Index, which is a ranking system for poker players. So if you want to find out how good you are compared to your country mates, the rest of the world, national, whatever, you're going to look at the Hendon Mob and GPI for all of that information. You want to see your opponents at a table when you get the table draw for the next day. You can search everyone's name and see their performances anytime they've made the final table, even if they have a profile. To kind of pick your spots, which is one of the main things. When a huge tournament series is going on, our site is just slammed by people trying to figure out who's at their table and who they need to be scared of. And essentially, that's we just work with the community to provide results and scheduling and just try to be a one-stop shop for everything poker and information, essentially.
And just to add something to that, you were talking about the hits. The first time we connected as Monster Jam Poker with the Hendon Mob was with Roland, and back then the stat was probably 8.5 million hits a year on your website. How's that grown?
Well, let me give you a little bit of context on top of what Anthony said. So the Hendon Mob, for those who don't know, was a website that started by the original 4 mobsters. Barney Boatman, Ross Boatman, Joe Beavers, and Ram Vaswani, to track their results, the 4 of them, track their own results. Then they added some of their friends. Then they said, all right, let's track results of some of the famous players too around at that time. Phil Hellmuth, Phil Ivey, Daniel, Doyle Brunson. So them, their friends, and famous players. In some point in the next couple of years, well, probably in the next year, we'll hit 1 million player profiles on the Hendon Mob.
1 million player profiles.
And so we get results and schedules and festivals at the moment from around 2,000 venues regularly in, I think, 56 countries. And in terms of total venues, I think 2,500. So about 2,000 of those are sending us regular results. And we're a team of 7. So we're doing around 1 live event somewhere in the world every month, and processing probably, God, how many total results are we on there now?
All of them.
I think we're up to 4 or 5 million total results. And you asked about traffic. I think back then, which was around 2017 when I probably first gave you the figures, I think we've probably increased our traffic by probably double. What figure did you have?
It was like 8.5 million a year.
Yeah, I think now, I think this year we should hit 15.5 million. So we've almost doubled the traffic since.
Oh, that's just fantastic.
And it's something that just snowballs and snowballs, because new players come on every week. New venues link up with us every week. New countries get in touch with us every week. So it's not something that ever sort of goes into a regression. It just kind of snowballs and snowballs.
And from our perspective, you know, from this company's perspective, we've had leaderboards with you since 2018, which have been individually powered for our own tour, for our own resulting. You guys have built our special boards when we were small, and sometimes we had events that had less than 32 players, and we had like a kind of different kind of tracking. And fortunately, we passed that now. We don't have to go through those processes anymore. But you know, for us, it helps us tremendously. It's also very cool for us when we do run a leaderboard. Like last year, we ran the promotion called the Race to Vegas.
Yeah, Race to Vegas.
And that was pretty cool for us. We took 10 South Africans to Las Vegas to the World Series of Poker, and we tried our damnedest to promote that product. If only they'd promote us. As we did. And we gave 10 people, well, I don't want to say we gave 10 people a bucket list experience, because a lot of those people had been before. But I can tell you now that barring the 10 that won on our leaderboard, because of the gravity of us moving, people started wanting to go with us. And we ended up with a posse of 40.
Yeah, I mean,
going to Las Vegas, of which 25 were absolute first-timers in Las Vegas. And we feel so cool and so responsible for giving them that bucket list opportunity, because we had this thing going where, you know, there was this traffic going there. They wanted to be part of this thing, and we spent our life trying to make it good. And our online partners that do online satellites got a team together, and we joined forces. And Darren Kramer and the PokerBet crew, and Jaden and Ryan Brower and Seamus and all these guys have just like been so cool in just trying to make poker something special in South Africa, and trying to make it great for South Africans. Obviously, we're all in business, and we all have to make our piece of the pie, but I can honestly say the culture within the MJPT group, for sure, is the growth of poker, because we know, we know that the numbers will eventually work out, and everything will be in order. But it's just promoting this product and making it so great in South Africa. And you know, we know that we have limited pools, and that's why we connect with wonderful partners like yourself, because we need acquisition, as you were talking about earlier, from abroad.
But, I mean, the job of Hendon Mob to any partner is to connect their events to our audience, and that's regardless of whether you're in South Africa, Asia, North America, and it's regardless of whether you're big or small. Even for a client like PokerStars, our job is to connect our audience with their events, or our audiences with their platform. So that kind of applies across the board. The way our job is more difficult for you guys, and the way we have perhaps more have to be more creative, is South Africa is is much further away than most poker destinations. So we've given ourselves a mountain to climb, but boy, are we're gonna climb it. We're gonna have fun climbing it too.
Yeah, I think I mentioned in something this morning that it's the Hendon Mob Championships first time in the Southern Hemisphere, and you chose like the furthest south point you could possibly
We're on the
find.
right,
Like,
the tip,
shoot right to the bottom.
The southernmost tip of
Africa.
The southernmost tip. And funny enough, I asked Anthony that question, earlier. I said to him, it's so easy when you're in Europe or Asia. It's like a quick hop, 1 hour flight, or just catch a drive across the border, whatever it may be. And it's so easy. And we, as a group, have to try and work out a way to tell people it's worth flying 12 hours to come to South Africa. And I said to Anthony, how do you do that? He says, just tell them the booze is cheap.
It's worth it for the food.
He makes a good point. I think word of mouth is everything in terms of, and Mark's probably sick in the guts of me saying this, but the Aussie Millions became the go-to event for all poker players from 2006 to whenever 2021 or whenever it finished, and that built up as a result of word of mouth. People would go to the Aussie Millions. Melbourne is absolutely mild. It's even further than this, but the Aussie Millions snowballed and snowballed, and that's because people would go to Melbourne and they'd come back and say, you got to come to the Aussie Millions. It's the best festival in the world.
And I'm not sick of it. I love it. I talk about it all the time. I do often tell our partners and people that we're in business with, and I say to them, guys, we've got this great opportunity. The Aussie Millions is unfortunately a thing of the past, and there's a space and there's a gap in that market. I just think like early January would be really difficult for us in South Africa, just because it's the summer in South Africa. It's not the winter, right? Although it's the summer in Melbourne too, I would guess. But South Africa is like a very interesting country. I don't think I've ever seen like a lot of things that happen here around the world. One of the funniest things is like on the 16th of December, it's a public holiday in South Africa. This year it's going to be the 15th because we won the Rugby World Cup, and we're very proud to say we won the Rugby World Cup and knocked out England in the semi by one.
Lucky in the semi-final. Favourable refereeing that occurred last game.
Anyway, so we got an extra day. But South Africa kind of switches off from the 15th or the 16th of December until the second Monday of the new year. Okay. It just switches off.
We kind of do that as well.
It just goes to bed. Everyone just goes on holiday. They go, if you live in Gauteng or anywhere inland, everyone gravitates to Durban and Cape Town and the Eastern Cape, and they go on a 3 or 4 week holiday. And when we get back, then it takes about 2 weeks for everyone to get going. And the first thing that happens is the 25th of January, all credit cards get settled because people have just smashed it on the Christmas and their family vacations. And good on them, like everyone deserves a holiday and this, that, the other. So we've always been a little reluctant to have an event around that time because we feel like the economy really just doesn't have...
with that said, you don't have to be in the Aussie Millions slot to be the Aussie Millions.
I think the overall point still applies.
Yeah, going back to like the Global Poker Dragon Test, this is when the actual grinders really get going because they want the #1 spot, or at least to improve their current ranking. For a lot, some people they're playing for the money, they're playing for a livelihood, but some people they want that #1 spot. They want to be recognized as the best poker player in the world.
Yeah.
So for these last 2 months, they're looking to go anywhere and everywhere they possibly can. That's going to get a field. That's going to, create a better score than their 13 current best. So like a time like this is absolutely ideal. Yeah. That's PokerStars has EPT Prague in a couple weeks or whatever, and the Bahamas.
I was going to mention those two. Those are two really big products coming up, right?
Yeah.
Paradise is going to be massive, and WPT just knocking out $40 million main event in Vegas. That's pretty hard for us to compete against, right?
Yeah, but that's not happening right now. Right now, this is a great time for it, and if people or when people know. This could be a good spot. You have a super high roller going on. That's going to create some decent points. The Little Slam would have created points. The Hendon Mob Championship, the main event, like all of those are great opportunities for a very skilled poker player to come down here and earn a strong result. So
and I think the general point, kind of about the fact that players will travel to a destination that's possibly 11, 12, 13, 14 hours away. If the product is correct, if you guys have the correct product, our job is to connect it with people in other parts of the world, which we're going to do. But I just think the opportunity to create something that has been successful as the Aussie Millions, and what month it's in, I think is an issue. A secondary issue. It is an issue, but it's a secondary issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
The number one issue is having a location and an event which people want to tell their friends about when they come home from it. They come home, they go themselves. Next year they come with 7 or 8 people, and then those 7 or 8 come back with 7 or 8 of those friends, and then you snowball. And that's what happened with Aussie Millions.
You really like Snowballs, don't you?
Yeah, I don't mind keep.
I never had the opportunity to get to the
The
Aussie Millions.
analogy's
But a bunch of South Africans used to go to the Aussie Millions, and I heard it was a really great event. And good on them. We love great events. We love people that put time and effort into great events. Let's talk about the Triton Poker Series, right? Although it's all high roller and what have you, when I put on a Triton stream, I have a look at attention to detail, and I think these guys just spare nothing. They really make it great. And for us, this is not only a poker event. We try and make this an exciting event. When people walk into a Sunbet poker room, they must feel like they have been transported into a poker environment like none other, and unless they experience it for themselves, I don't think they would know what it feels like.
No, I completely agree with that. When you walk into this event, you're in a proper poker event, and that's the reason Triton does so well is because a Triton player feels like he's at an event worthy of the buying level that he's playing at. Whereas what other tours and what you guys have done is you create that feeling irrespective of the buying level. So you walk in here. We played a 5,000 rand tournament, £200 English, but it was run and you felt like you were playing something a much bigger tournament because of the structure, because of the setup of the room, because of the feature table behind you, but because of the atmosphere in the room. So it's not what Triton are doing can be applied at any level.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we try to do. Yeah. It's really important for us to have a really nice, exciting poker room. Lots of decor. We have music in the background.
The music is brilliant. I've enjoyed that every second
in the world that have got music in them. But that's just our vibe and that's our buzz. And you can't please everyone. Two-thirds of the field love it and a third of the field hate it. So we're just going with 2/3 of the field.
Go with the 2/3.
Put on headphones. Nothing.
Back to some of the events that are running. Obviously, you guys are very excited about the Hidden Mob Championship that's running at the back now. It's pretty busy already tonight. We've got 3 flights for the same event.
Yep.
We also have 2 winners that won bounties off the both of you from the Little Slam. So we've got, I think one of those entries is already in tonight, Srini Govender. So Simon Cox will come back later in the week and he'll play his bounty seat. What are you guys looking forward to? Are you going to be taking part?
I think there's a possibility of a day 1C registration.
I just wanted to see a figure there.
I sometimes play these Hidden events. Sometimes don't. What I really don't want to do is take that trophy outside of South Africa back to my own house because I brought it from my own house, and so I just don't want to create any situation where I might win the tournament. So my chips will be in play from a very early stage. They weren't in play at all in the Little Slams. I managed to have my table covered the entire way through up till 2 tables left. So I didn't even give anyone a shot at the bounty till there was 14 left. So if I will try and make my chips available to my opponents probably quite earlier in the event than I did the last time.
Speaking of bounties, Mark made a little announcement off the cuff the other day that the winner of the Hidden Mob Championship from Cape Town is also going to be winning another prize, which is very exciting.
Well, me and Mark, we don't always have to discuss these things. Sometimes we just speak telepathically, and our brains telepathically thought, what a good idea to add a package to a 2024 Hidden Mob Championship anywhere in the world of the players choosing to the winner of the Hidden Mob Championship.
Except in South Africa, of course, they have to leave.
Except in South Africa, they got to leave the country, and there are just a slew of amazing destinations they can choose. Off the top of my head, Malta, Nottingham, London, Liechtenstein, Dublin, California, and Hanoi, Vietnam.
I will
like
say,
and you two are both welcome. On top of, you can travel with the winner of the Hendon Mob Championship, and we'll throw in a ticket for you guys too.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much.
That is pretty awesome. I might just take you up on that. But I've got to actually. I've got to thank one of my friends, Jonathan Woolley, who actually mentioned something like this to me. He said to me, Mark, like this Hendon Mob event's really cool. That would be nice if the winner actually got a prize of this nature that we discussed. And then I thought about it and I thought, well, that's a pretty cool idea. So he put that into my head and I just decided it's going to happen. And Roland said it's cool because we didn't actually care. We were just happy to pay for it, right? From our end. If you guys couldn't offer it, we would have just put it up and said, but I mean, as usual, this relationship is awesome. We just we both have the same mindset. We're just trying to grow the game. We're trying to give people opportunities to just enjoy themselves, get bucket list opportunities because traveling for poker is not that accessible for everyone, especially not in South Africa. I had a quick look at this event, just by the way, and we got about 30 minutes left in flight 1, and we got about 70 buy-ins into the first event, so we got 2 more flights to go. To reach the guarantee, we needed just, I think, 149. So I think this will comfortably bust its guarantee. Maybe it can double it up, which will be an awesome start. Nice. And then next year we can just shoot for double guarantee. You never know what happens. Caitlin's looking at me like I'm like I'm daft. I just love doing stuff. I just love putting out the guarantees.
200 players would be a nice, based on 70 so far.
Doable.
It's a doable target, I think.
But last year we had in this particular slot we had a mystery bounty for the same price. And that got, I think, 208 or 210 buy-ins.
Okay.
And it was also run Monday, Tuesday, excepting the difference was that it had 4 flights. This one's got 3 flights. Okay. But I feel like sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
we'll
still have 3 opportunities.
Maybe 250 is on the cards.
Well, you never know. We got 30 minutes left. People that are busting out the club champs might think, you know what? Instead of me having to spend the whole day grinding tomorrow, why don't I just quickly try and flip a bullet and see what happens? And if I miss, I'll just come back tomorrow and do another bullet. It is an ITM event, so you can play all the flights and take your best stack forward and take min cashes if that's the case. So that's also cool.
Yeah, I think we've used up quite a bit of your time for this evening, so I don't think we'll talk too much longer. But I know you guys are here for a good couple of days, so I think we look forward to chatting to you again. We'll obviously chat about the progress of the THMC event. I think that's it from us for now.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we say goodbye, tell us what players that make the final table can expect, because we have committed to making sure that it's streamed. The entire final table, or at least the top 6 will be streamed of the final table, and we just want to make sure that it is put out on, it is on your platform anyway via the Twitch.
Of course.
But we're also going to ask your PR department to really tweet it and push it out there that people can watch the Hendon Mob event live on the stream. I don't know if you've had any of your championships live streamed.
We've had 1 or 2. King's Casino, Rosvadov comes to mind. Grand Casino, Liechtenstein comes to mind.
Well,
Banco Casino, Bratislava. We've had 1 or 2.
Well, your only event in Africa will be live streamed at the final table. What can players expect when they get there from your end?
Every player who makes the final table will get a exclusive Hendon Mob t-shirt and hoodie. And anyone who makes the money will also be getting a custom THMC badge for their THM profile. And, of course, the custom trophy for the eventual champion of the event.
I've had so much good feedback about this trophy. Everyone loves it so much.
Yeah, it's a great trophy.
Cool. Some people said, I have to play that event because I just want that trophy. They don't
I've heard that from people's lips as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And now we change our trophies every year, funny enough. We never have a standard trophy. We have like a trophy for the season. Yeah. So Caitlin's looked at me and she said, we're going to make ones that look like that.
Which means I have to find a new trophy supplier.
Anyway, it is what it is, guys. From my end, thanks so much for coming to South Africa. Thank you so much for your time. Roland, thank you for putting up with me over the years. Thank you for making like 24 changes on the fly in one evening.
And I think as well, just going back on the fact that we've had this relationship for such a long time, I think we've received so much guidance from Roland and his team at the Hendon Mob. Just giving us a lot of guidance and trying to grow our products and grow poker in South Africa, and we are really, really grateful for that.
From our first chat, you guys have been a pleasure to work with, and I couldn't be happier that we're now in the same room, sat in front of a camera, talking about our joint event. So, no, I couldn't be happier.
Fantastic. And I need to elaborate on that because, this is the one thing. Like Roland is just a go-to guy for us when we need anything international. If we need to connect to Poker Go, Roland, who do we need to
I got a
connect?
guy.
He's got a guy. Roland, we need to talk to Poker News. I've got a guy. You know, Roland, we need some help at WSOP with Rumi. We connected with Kevin Math. We're going to put you in touch. You know, every single person that has got something to do with poker that is recognized around the globe, Roland is connected to, and
we know a guy.
Always,
You guys have got all the guys.
you know, he is never reluctant to put us in touch and share and put us on the right path. And to that, I can't say thank you enough. It really is something special to us that somebody is prepared to help us on our journey.
You guys are very
I mean, it
kind.
is
I'm
really
blushing,
fitting
I'm blushing now.
for the Hendon mob. You know,
You guys,
we know a guy.
you're too kind. Anyway, no, my WhatsApps are always open to you guys. You've been so welcoming, kind to us, and there's no problem that I wouldn't try and solve for you, any now or in the future.
No, we appreciate it. And Anthony, thanks so much for coming. You flew a long way.
Thanks
and
very much.
You need to come back next year.
Yes, of
don't,
course.
Don't miss out.
I already got it marked down.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Well, chaps, we'll speak again. I think we'll speak on the last day when we're at final table. We'll have a little discussion and hopefully hand over the trophy to a worthy winner.
Yes,
I hope
of
so.
course.
Yeah.
Definitely. As for you guys at home, obviously the stream will continue. Club champs will be crowned tonight, so it's going to get rowdy. It'll be fun to watch. Stay tuned. And then, of course, there's all the poker going on in the room. And for the rest of the week, if you haven't been down to Grand West, come on down. So much poker still to come this week. There are free roll satellites every single day, 2 times a day. So come and join. Make your way to the 4 million rand main event here at Grand West.